Staying in the United States, Donald Trump has been very busy this week issuing executive orders addressing all sorts of issues. If only we had a Trump in Australia. Overnight, he addressed the issue of anti-Semitism, issuing an executive order that those students from foreign nations, non-citizens, studying at universities in America who participated in pro-Palestinian rallies should be deported. He'll have no truck with anybody supporting Hamas. And so he's given universities 60 days to work out how they are going to get rid of these protests on their campuses, what they're going to do about it. And as I said, he has repeated that threat that non-citizen students participating in those marches will be deported. The other order he issued overnight was that Guantanamo Bay should be expanded to house dangerous illegal detainees. Here's Donald Trump talking about that.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Well, some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back.
The difference between what we're experiencing here in Australia, where our politicians come on television every single day and yap, 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 but do nothing. And then in the United States, you've got Donald Trump, who has come into office and immediately started making decisions. And not everybody likes them. Some people are highly offended by them, but they are clearly the best thing for the United States. He's unapologetic about it. And he's getting things done. The difference could not be more stark.
Well, this prison essentially that he wants to set up for illegal immigrants is not, when we talk about Gitmo, we're not talking about the place where they waterboarded people. It's in the same general region. And they've already got a prison there where they put other illegals that have been caught at sea, etc. But I reckon, just don't tell people that bit. Like, just make them feel like they may actually end up in the real Gitmo where they might be waterboarded, and then you'll be able to solve the illegal migration problem overnight. Good on him for doing it. I mean, it worked for us here when we did Operation Sovereign Borders. We said no one will make land and anyone who attempts to will be taken elsewhere. That's what he's saying here. It worked for us. No reason it shouldn't work in the United States. And good on him for saying that people who are essentially guests in his country, the United States, if you don't play by our rules, then you're out. If you don't share our values, you're out. Good on him. We should be doing this all over the West. It's all good and well, you know, you can't kick out someone who is already a citizen of your country, who was born here, etc. We all understand that. But if you're in a country on a visa, the same if I went to another foreign country and started slagging off their country over there while I'm on a visa, they have every right to kick me out. I'm a guest in that country, and if you don't want to abide by the rules and the values of that country while you're there, then you don't deserve to be there. Good on him.
But say we're talking about peaceful protests, which are the majority of protests. You think that just because they're a visitor, they're on a student visa in America, they shouldn't be able to attend a protest?
Well, it depends on what the context of the protest is. If you're going along to if you're going along to a protest where you're waving around flags with things like "from the river to the sea," which is, you know, essentially to exterminate a population from their lands, etc., I would say that's against Western values, and sure, you should be kicked out.
But I would say that most of the people who are attending these rallies, they're not anti-Semitic, they're not pro-Hamas, they're not Hamas fans, they're not terrorist fans. They're simply protesting the deaths of 47,000 people, 18,000 of them who were children, and all of which were completely helpless to save themselves. That's what has gotten under these people's skin. That's what the vast majority of them, the well-meaning ones, I'm sure if you're talking about foreign students who are there, who are leading the charge and actually like waving Hamas flags or something, but if they've simply marched in a peaceful protest, I do think that a lot of this is rhetoric right now. This is not something, I mean, it's absolutely unenforceable as well, because a lot of this is in hindsight. We haven't heard a peep about any of these protests on university campuses in America for a long time. So I think this is pure Trump rhetoric, but I don't know that it is entirely fair to say that, any foreign student can't walk in a peaceful
I would
protest.
disagree with that in this sense. If you're a well-meaning person and you went to a pro-Palestinian rally at Hyde Park in Sydney, you would only need to be there for 10 minutes if you're a well-meaning person before you would leave, because the sort of rubbish that is getting spewed from the stage by speaker after speaker...
Yeah, but you haven't been... We're not talking about the Hyde Park rally you attended. I'm talking about students in
I'm talking about pro-Palestinian rallies, which is what Trump is talking about.
You've attended one, so now you're an authority on the matter. We're talking about peaceful protests on university campuses in the States.
If you've been to a
should they be deported for simply walking in them?
If you've been to a pro-Palestinian protest in Sydney, they would be the same as what we saw on our television screens in the US. When you hear the bile that is being repeated from stage, the chants...
No, we've shown the worst of them, but the good ones don't make the news, where students band together and say, we simply object to...
If, as you said, you're a well-meaning person and you just want to peacefully protest, it takes 10 minutes to realise those protests are not peaceful, the rhetoric is not peaceful, and if you are a guest in the country...
That is such a stupid generalisation, Max.
Is that a stupid generalisation?
There is such a thing as a peaceful protest.
Well, what's stupid about it?
You're saying no, all of them. So there's no protest that has been peaceful. Any nice person who goes would have left.
Show me a pro-Palestinian rally where there's no hateful rhetoric, where there's no demonisation.
Well, they don't make the news, do they?
Oh, right. So you haven't seen one then?
No, yes, I have, which is why I'm speaking to them.
When did you see a loving of pro-Palestinian...
On socials.
Well,
I'm telling you, there are good-hearted people. They do not hate Jews. They do hate what's happened to Gaza and the 47,000 odd people who have been killed through no fault of their own. That is what they're marching for. They don't hate Jews and they're not Hamas fans. I can't believe that you would make such a generalisation regarding, I'd say, millions of people at this point across the West.
I think it's a pretty fair generalisation, to be honest, from what we've seen right across the West.
No,
that is
such a gross generalisation. That is
happy to stand by it. If someone can show me a peaceful pro-Palestinian rally where they're all just saying nice things,
it doesn't make the news.
I'd love to know about it.
It doesn't make the news.